Let's see how this is going. This won't be any fancy. I'm just trying this out so I can hopefully try to stream some of other Silent Hill games in the future. I have to just try this out. And I thought I would start with, the tier list I made. And I thought that would be fun, and I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to be the first to do it. And now that Null Zombie has done it, I thought, screw it, why not? So now, just trying. I don't have a good mic, so I'm sorry about it. So if you just want to listen to a complete rando talking about the games and characters that I like, uh, come on in. Okay, it seems that everything is fine. Uh, I could have done this on Twitch, but I wanted to stay in my channel. Um, yeah, forgive any awkwardness. So let's start because I don't want to do this for too long. Okay, so last thing I did was that I added a few characters to the tier list. These are the PT characters. Uh, some others that were weren't in the original tier list I made. Uh, I also added the characters from a few minor characters from Shattered Memories. Eva Johansson and player cameo characters from Ascension, which you probably don't care about, but I do, and I want to have fun with this. And I also added the origins renditions of Silent Hill 1 characters because people pointed out that they are kind of different. So it made more sense to make them separate. And I originally didn't agree, but after thinking about it some more, yeah, I can say it. So I think it's completely fine too. And also made Jung and Cunningham, the little girl from the monastery in Downpour. I also made her own entry. And as you can see, this list is very expensive. There's so many characters in this, and this took me so long to make. I'm not going to do all of this in one stream. After all, this is mostly just to test things and to keep a record of it. Uh, if everything's fine, I can try it again, continue it. Okay, so, alright. To start, I want to do it not exactly in the order they are in here, but I'll probably be putting some of the lesser known entries like the comics in between the games so that the final stretch of the ranking isn't so boring and uninteresting. I think that's a nice way to do it. But of course we have to start with Silent Hill 1. Okay. First of all, the best father ever. Harry Mason, I want to put him in S tier, but he doesn't have that much characterization just in Silent Hill 1. Most of his characterization comes from Silent Hill 3. No, actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm here to have fun. Harry can be in S tier. He did so much just for Cheryl, and he isn't a Gary Stu either. He actually cared, and he had his flaws. He struggled, and he came up on top until but he didn't give in to the darkness that he was feeling. And yeah, you know what? He deserves it. He deserves S tier. Yeah, screw it. That's fine for me. Um, oh yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to say. If you already seen Nov Zombie's stream of this same tier list, oh well, this won't be as insightful as his probably. Um, Most of all, as you can see, I don't really have the cadence to speak like him. I speak so much, so I'm going to do something a bit more simplistic here. This is just if you want to see the opinions, that's that's fine for me. Let's see. Sybil Bennett. Um, she's a good person in general, and she sucks at being a cop, which, depending on your point of view, might actually be a good thing. But uh, she isn't a particularly deep character, and sadly, we don't get more of her in Silent Hill 3. Though one cool thing I can share about her is that the current stance is that she could be alive. Um, Silent Hill 3 and Homecoming were written when Silent Hill 1's director Keiichiro Toyama saw only the good ending as canon, but over time he came to agree that yeah, Sybil could have survived. It isn't necessary that she has to marry Harry after the game. So she could be alive. If somebody in a future game wants to pick up on it and write a note about what she's up to these days, I like to think that she's like the cool aunt to Heather. She comes around in Christmas and all. Um, but she's a good person. Not very deep, but she's a good person. She means well. She does her best. She fucks up, but she's fine. She's fine. Mm, Dahlia Gillespie. She's very fun as a character. It's one of those characters you love to hate. She may not have much in terms of motivations, but I think she more than makes up for it in her uh, in her portrayal. Her actions kind of caused the entire series to happen, and you can just tell that her actress is having the time of her life playing her. I also like a lot that she pretends to be the mad oracle trope when you first meet her, and then by the end of the game she just drops the act, and she might be insane, but she's not insane in the way that she was pretending. she doesn't get a fully developed arc like Harry. So I think she's going in A. But overall, she's probably a highlight of the entire series, even though she just has her main appearance in Silent Hill 1, since the other appearance in Origins is I'm doing her separate. Okay, next up is Lisa Garland. Lisa. This is the illusion, Lisa, because in the words of Shattered Memories, we never knew her and we never will, since her comic is lost media, which sucks because I really want to see what Lisa was like. Um, but ranking the Lisa we do meet in the Silent Hill 1, she's very well acted. She has very dreamy scenes. She has a complete arc about realizing that she's actually dead. And the thing is that you know that the real Lisa probably had plenty of conflicted feelings about Alessa. We know that she tried to kill Alessa in the comic. That's one of the few things that we do know about Cage of Cradle. But we know that it came from a place of despair, and Alessa never knew. She was killed by Baltiel to protect Alessa, which actually getting killed by Baltiel is like a very huge honor in my book. So I think Lisa as a whole deserves to be in S tier. Uh, my, she might not impact the plot of Silent Hill 1 much. I think the plot of the game could go exactly the same way without Lisa. And that's probably a mean thing to say about her. But that doesn't mean that Lisa is forgettable in any way. I don't think this game could exist in the same way as it does without Lisa. Dr. Kaufman, um, really good villain, I'd say. He's a manipulator. He's kind of an atheist in Silent Hill, which is weird but great to see. Um, he has a rivalry with Dahlia. He's a realist. He doesn't really believe in magic beyond the few murders that he saw get carried out through it. And he's a selfish man, but he's fucking good at that. Plus, his theme song, the music that plays when you meet him in the hospital and in the motel garage, I fucking love it. I love his theme song. He's this man. I don't know if I can rank him above Talia because he's also kind of shallow. Uh, but he's just, I don't know. He's like the real threat in Silent Hill 1, while Talia is kind of the otherworldly threat. I don't know if I can. Mm, I think I'll put him in A alongside Talia for now. Maybe I want to push him up at some point, but for now, I'm putting Dr. Kaufman in A. Oh, also, the trope of the evil doctor is very cool. um, I kind of put both versions of Lisa, counting her because I feel like the construct Lisa can act as an extension of what a real Lisa would have been like. And I don't mind that Lisa might have not been that great of a person in the real world, but I think it adds to her character. And I do like a conflicted character. Next up is Cheryl. And for this one, um, what do we know about Cheryl? Cheryl was kind of too innocent. She didn't really know anything. I don't think she ever got to remember anything. She just felt called by Silent Hill. She doesn't have much for agency, but we know she was nice. We know she loved her mom, Jodie. They have Jodie here. Yeah, I do. Um, she does carry some of the franchise from the start. Like she just looks so innocent in that small cutscene in the car. I'm putting her in B with Sybil. Yeah, I think that's fine with me. Alyssa. Oh yeah, I thought not zombie pointed out that maybe I should have used the picture of burnt Alyssa instead of this one because this one is the astral projection, but I think it gets the meaning across. I mean, S tier. I don't think there's any arguing it. She's she's so complex of a character. Uh, Even though we barely get to see her perspective of things. I mean, as players, we just get the glimpses through notes and symbolism, but what we get is really cool. Like, Alessa is not a vengeful, evil kid trying to get revenge on the people who hurt her. She just wants, she only wants two things: to kill herself and to get rid of the embryonic god inside her by whatever means necessary. If those means involve killing the entire town, so be it. But that's just a secondary aside aside goal. She just wants to end her own pain. I think that's the best motivation she can have as a character after everything she endured. Um, okay, here are some deep cuts. Um, Norman Young. Sorry, I'm not so practicing English. Norman Young. He is the owner of the motel and works at the Indian Runner. He's kind of doing some stuff. He is involved in the drug trade, but he wants to quit, but he's too scared of what Kaufman and Dahlia could do to him. He's a very minor character, but he does have a small impact in the plot, showing you how the small the lesser known people of the town feel about things, how they fear what the cult is doing. So I think in that sense, he is more relevant than a C, for example. Officer Gachi, this man, we know he was doing a good work. We know he was doing the right thing, and he got killed for it. I think, yeah, his involvement in the plot is relevant enough to put him in B, I think. Um, if they felt that they needed to use magic to kill him with a heart attack, he was probably a real threat to the cult, I feel. I don't think they would have spent resources on just killing some random police officer. We probably won't ever know his personality, his life, but he was doing something important and was probably somewhat close to achieving it. Okay, Kay Gordon. Allegedly Kim Gordon, if she has the same name as her Sonic Youth counterpart. She was trying to get help for Alessa, but ultimately didn't do anything, though Origins points out that she did put a complaint about Dahlia and tried to get uh, Alessa examined, but the examination got just sabotaged and the complaint was closed. So Miss Gordon didn't do much, but she tried, so she gets some points for that. Um, does she try more than Sybil? Is she as compelling as Kaufman or Talia? No, but I will put her above Norman Young. I think that's a fair assessment. Okay, Jodie Mason, a character that appears for like 3 seconds. We know she was a really good mother. Even Heather remembers her. And also that despite being terminally sick, she still adopted Cheryl and was a great mother to her. I think on the basis that we don't really know her, but we do know of her, I think she can be in A tier because what we do know about her is that she was a great person. We just, I don't think we know enough about her complexities to be an S tier character. Well, like I said, this is entirely very much subjective. So I'm I'm probably not going to be putting as much insight onto rankings like a more competent um, streamer or fan would do, but um, this is just for just for fun and testing out that streaming thing, of course. Um, okay, I did say this in the beginning, but I'm going to intercut the main games with some obscure entries down here. so that the final stretch doesn't get too boring, which it probably will if I don't do this. So, how about some comic characters? Silent Hill, dying inside. Okay, one thing you have to know about me. While I'm not very cynical about any of the games or even Ascension, I am a bit cynical about Silent Hill 2006, and I don't think I'm cynical about the comics, but I kind of use them as a punching bag. So I'm sorry about that. Uh, but hey, at least you know that I'm gonna be nice to all of the games here. Oh, hi, Roman. Thanks. Okay, so Dr. Troy Abernathy. He's the, supposed to be the main character of Dying Inside, but he's just a false protagonist. I'm not certain if he dies entirely or more of transcends into an entity of Silent Hill. He's kind of an asshole, cheating on his family. Uh, yeah, he's sleeping with random chicks. He does appear in a few of the comics, and I think he's better in those comics than in his debut. I'm gonna put him in D tier because I don't find his character very interesting. Alright, man. Thanks for dropping by. Right, next up in Dying Inside is. Well, what did I put in? Okay. Oh, oh no. Okay, so one thing about the comics is that I'm really bad with names in them. This character is a woman that was left in Silent Hill and was found catatonic and taken to a hospital where Troy Abernathy talked to her and found out about Silent Hill, and the asshole decided that to cure her, she'd have to be brought back to Silent Hill, which is really messed up for a therapist to do. Um, I I would say that she's more interesting of a character than Troy, but also her screen time is very low. My memory might be failing me, but I don't think she appears after the second issue of Dying Inside. I do find her more interesting, so there's that. So I'm putting her on C tier. Also, she speaks when she sees Silent Hill monsters again, and she just kind of insults them, and that did get a chuckle out of me. Lauren, I I didn't like her at first. I didn't like her inner monologue. It was a bit too creepy for me, but she grew on me. I like her now, especially in the final issue of her arc. So I think she's fine. Uh, do I like her more than the other girl? I mean, Lauren has an entire arc, so I think I have to agree that. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Roman. I'm not gonna do the entire thing right away. This is just for like an hour or so, so I can kind of get this going, so I can motivate myself to keep doing it. Next in time, oh my god, no, this character. Okay, if I'm gonna be cynical about any character in the entire franchise, is this. I hate comic Christabella. I hate her so much. She's I she wandered in from I don't know what franchise she thinks she's in, but it's not Silent Hill. Oh my god, she's awful. She's too quippy. Like at one point she gets set on fire and she says, "Oh no, now my hair is on fire." It's she does those quips and they're so bad. I hate her. I hate her inclusion. I think her inclusion alone really knocks Dying Inside like 10 pegs down. She does have a bit of an arc. She becomes a better character by the end, but her introduction in Dying Inside is too bad to forget. Uh, I think I'm better off moving into another character, or else I'd rant about Christabella for too long. Next up in Dying Inside is Troy's wife. He killed her for cheating on him, which he does anyways. So I don't remember why he. I don't know why. I don't remember why he cares so much. Um, she's just in one scene. Um, I guess I care a little. She she had an impact on Troy, but that whole segment of Dying Inside is very. It was very messy for me to follow. So I could probably say nicer things about her if I had a better idea on how things were going in there. But sadly, I don't. It's comics are a bit difficult for me to read, but I did my best. Next up is from Dying Inside. Okay, the Lauren's friends. The problem I have is I have a bit of face blindness with these two guys. I don't remember which one is Lauren's boyfriend and which one she's cheating on the other with. So I fear I might have to put them both as the same character in like E because I don't really care about the love triangle. And one of them is it's kind of an edge lord. Sorry, Queen, you deserve better. She did get better though. This one is the other of the main friends. I remember him being a bit braver than them. I think he tried to confront an insane cancer alone. Something like that. I think that alone puts him above the boyfriends. Uh, Next, Brett. Brett was the guy uh, uh, Troy's wife was cheating on with, and Troy, if I remember correctly, shot him in the back of the head. He kinda acts like he's normal and he doesn't realize he's dead. So that's interesting. But then that would put him like about on par with Troy. But then he turns into a monster, and it's the laziest monster design I've ever seen in the franchise. He's kind of a giant head with tentacles sprouting from the neck, and it's bad. It's it looks really bad. So I think I have to knock him down just for that. If he had a better monster form, he could have been up with Troy. Uh, the Doctor. He's a friend of Troy. He should be better at his job. Like, Troy shouldn't be taking patients to the place of their trauma in the first place. So, dude, you fucking suck. I'm sorry. I returned your diploma. You shouldn't be allowing patients to be put through that. This is the one of the women Troy was sleeping with. I don't really care about you, but I mean, she's just living her life. It's Troy who is the piece of shit in here. So, um, you know what? I think you're safe and don't care about you. I don't think you're bad. Sorry, you're just not memorable. Next up is the last of Lauren's friends. I kind of put them as a collective here, and Lauren kind of sacrifices them for power, which is messed up. But also, these are weird because they're kind of like zombies, but they work on behest of Lauren's wishes. Um, I don't know if I hate the idea though. I don't know if it fits Silent Hill at all. Mm, but I think Inside is going for some like uh, a weird type of witchcraft, which it does fit. So I think I'm putting him. I'm putting Troy up, but lower than the girl whose name I forget, and I put in the rest of the Lawrence friends in here. I think that's the most fair thing I can do. Okay, and finally, Waitley, the main antagonist of the original run of comics. I I can't say exactly in which comics he appears, but he's a recurring antagonist. He can like summon other versions of himself, and they act to bring Samael. And this is kind of such a weird villain that I can't help but respect him. You know, I think I think he might be an A tier. Like he's a very weird antagonist. He he barely make any sense. He's like a very powerful magic user trying to summon a god, and his actions are so strange, and I can't help but kind of respect and like the character. his personality is kind of cool, though. I'm not sure if he would ever work in a game. He's kind of like a more cool and collected uh, version of Dahlia regarding the magic use. He's like a big mastermind behind the comics. And I don't know, I kind of like it. And that kind of puts him in A tier, which is insane to think about. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna finish this up with Silent Hill 2. We still have 10 minutes, 10 minutes left. Silent Hill 2 original, of course. Oh, there's plenty of entries here, so we'll be filling up the time. James Sunderland. I mean, we have to. Um, I feel like I sympathize with him a bit more than uh, the average player. Um, I don't know. I I I I, I get him. I wouldn't ever excuse him or justify him, but I get him. I get the pain. I wish he would have found a better way to cope with what he was going through, but it hurt him. He one reason I like the live ending is that I don't think it completely excuses James for what he did. I think he has to live with what he did, and I think he's he's gonna spend the rest of the life trying to make up for it. And I think he should. I think the live ending is exactly the ending he needs. He has to continue his life, and he has to make up for what he did. I think I, I think that's I think that's perfect. And um, Mary Shepard Sunderland. Okay, she was a very nice woman. She was ill, and illness, long-lasting illnesses, especially, do things to your mind. The pain, it messes you up. So of course, I don't fault her whatsoever for her aggressiveness when towards James sometimes. Uh, not everyone can handle everything perfectly. I like to think about James and Mary as what Harry and Jodie could have been had things been less favorable. Another thing is that Mary appears in the endings, but the game doesn't want to tell you if it was just an illusion for James or if it was her actual spirit. And I don't think I can say one way or the other, but I think Mary's body is there. I think it's not out of the question that it could be her. So, yeah, Mary, Esther, I sympathize with you so much. I sympathize with you both so much. I wouldn't blame either of them over the other for what happened. Maria, the tragic antagonist, of course, is an S tier. She's a very complex character. She's living a life she didn't want, taking a role she didn't want. She yearns for something that she knows it's bad and that she shouldn't have it, and yet she keeps pushing through. She keeps kind of, I don't want to say degrade herself, but it's against her own best interests, identity wise, to keep yearning for James. And yet she still does because she does love him. Like when they first meet at Rosewater Park, Maria starts trying to, seduce him very coyly at first. And James just kind of ignores her because he's still going after Mary. Like you can tell, Maria really wants him. James doesn't at first. And that's kind of a curse for someone whose entire purpose is to be with him. So I really feel for her. Also, something else is that I kind of feel like Maria is an evolution of Dahlia as a character. Like in both of them, their purpose as an antagonist is to lead the protagonist astray from their actual goal. It's not a it's not a direct attack against them. It's manipulation. But with Maria, it's an entirely different motivation, and I like that. And we'll talk more about that point when we get to Shattered Memories, Dahlia. Laura, she's cool. Sorry, I don't know what else to say. I mean, she's an orphan. She doesn't like to be in an orphanage. She keeps running away. She only really hates James because she thinks that he's not a good husband. Although at that point, it was mainly that it was very hard for James to see his wife in that state. So there's a mix of innocence and some what do you call it, grudge at her age. I put her in B tier. I don't think she's complex enough to go about that, but she's a good character. Angela Orozco, she deserves so much. Uh, I think Angela and Eddie, who's coming next, are the best examples of why Silent Hill isn't a conscious judge. At least, at least in Silent Hill 2, Angela is not there because she deserves to be punished. She's there because she thinks she does, and whether she achieves it or not, uh, probably will never happen. But narratively, she's there as a path to James. This is the side that can't forgive themselves for what they did. And that's just one of the ways someone can react to a terrible thing happening in their life. She also isn't a coward. She did run away from home once before coming to Silent Hill, and I think that's enough for her to be. That's not something easy to do. I think that was very brave of her, even if it didn't result well in that moment. She's not a coward whatsoever. Eddie, I think this is my hottest take. I think he's an S tier character. Um, I think Eddie is probably the most overlooked or how's it said, sidelined character when people analyze Silent Hill 2 because it feels like Eddie is always taken as either a complete monster from the beginning or just something to laugh at. And I feel like those two readings are so bad regarding his character. Eddie wasn't a monster when he entered Silent Hill. The way he understood his journey through Silent Hill is what made him a monster later on. But I'm gonna say, if Eddie hadn't felt guilt about what happened with the bully and the dog, he wouldn't have been in Silent Hill. He's there because he does feel regret and guilt. And then what he saw, what he experienced in the town, it made him think that he was validated, that he was justified. And that validation is what turns him into the monster we see later on. But he wasn't inherently one. At least that's how I feel about Eddie. And I feel that he gets sidelined so bad in all analysis. He isn't just comic relief. I think it does it a great disservice that people don't really seem to see him as a person. Oh, and so many fat jokes. I don't like them. I don't like them, and much less when they're about Eddie, because it kind of just tell me that you don't really care about analyzing his character. That was enough. Pyramid Head. I did make him a character because he has his own motivations, and that was to me a way to make him a way to qualify him as a character. Motivation wise, he wants to remove James's delusions. Good enough? He won't stop at anything? Um, the spear, the executioner spear, which I think should be more iconic, but whatever. I do like I do like that in the original game he never kills anything with the knife. I think that's something that's very overlooked. He only ever kills with the spear or with his bare hands, and I don't think people realize that. But anyway, he serves a great purpose in the plot. Um, good, great design. I don't think we have to talk about that. And canonically, he is designed after Valtiel. which is really fucking cool. So that's absolutely an S tier. Alright, we're moving into the side characters now. Ernest Baldwin, played by the guy that says Resident Evil in RE 1 and 4. Um, he, I, I like the idea behind him that he is only a ghost that might not even know that he's dead, researching the occult because his daughter died. That's that's weird to say, but that's a very cool thing to do. Um, and owns a freaking mansion in Silent Hill. That's wild. A tier, definitely. Amy Baldwin. She was nice. She just wanted to make give his her she just wanted to give her father a present. I should have been more careful though. But she's also a ghost. Maria can hear her in the attic. She's dead and still only wants her father to get the present. Pitier. Not as cool as Ernest, but I think just that act of kindness of wanting to give her father closure, I think that's so nice of her. Rachel the nurse. Who's Rachel? I put her painting from Silent Hill 4 in here. Um, she's here implied to be the same one, even though their names are spelled differently. But that's just what happens with this franchise. I mean, they couldn't. Sybil has like 5 different ways to spell her name, so that's kind of that's kind of the way you can tell that these two are meant to be the same character. Okay, Rachel was nice to Mary. She didn't have to hold onto the letters for a dying patient, but and nurses have the reputation of kind of being assholes, but she cared. Let's see here. Could be better, but we don't know much about her. Oh, also, she has a stalker, and I mean that's not much about her, right? That's probably going. That's up for discussion in Mike's entry. Walter Sullivan, also in his Silent Hill 4 depiction, S tier. This is still lumped in with Silent Hill 2, but come on, it's Walter. You have to put him in S tier. Everything about him, from his backstory to his portrayal, his actions, his delivery. Walter was like lab grown to be the perfect antagonist, and he could only work in Silent Hill 4. Dead by Daylight, behavior. Please add Walter as a killer. I'm begging you. I don't know what else to say about him. He's just the perfect antagonist. The Brookhaven director, a very interesting guy that tries to learn too much and might have learned way too much. Um, he's brain freaky. We never get an answer about him. We never get to meet him. And we don't even know he exists in the same reality as everything else. We only see the paper trail he leaves. I think that's. I think his entire subplot is the. I don't know if the best part, but it's one of the most memorable parts of Silent Hill 2 to me. And I'm someone who gets really bored in Silent Hill 2 until about halfway through the hospital. But the Brookhaven director subplot always sticks out to me. 3 Brookhaven patients. Joseph Parkin. He loved his daughter, but she died, and he thinks it's his fault. To get so many notes from and about him, uh, most of the hospital level revolves about him. I think he's interesting enough to be in B tier. He's there to be a parallel to James, and he fulfills that role while also having his own um, identity, his subplot. Jack Davis, presumably the person who leaves um, the note about the basement's basement, and maybe the diary in the rooftop. Who knows? But Jack is the depressed patient, the one that's a parallel to Angela. We don't really know much about him, but for since this isn't a strictly an strictly objective ranking, I'm going to consider the basement's basement note to be a parallel to Angela being punished by Thomas Orozco. And I think that bumps up Jack to be on par with Joseph. Joshua. This character is a parallel to Eddie. He has a persecution complex. He might have been the one who buried the Historical Society's key in the park. There's the note written on the floor that has very bad spelling mistakes and all. He's a little less interesting of the 3 patients, so I can't bump him up to B tier, but there's something there. There's something there you can think about. Why does the man with the persecution complex bury a key to the so-called abyss in the historical society? I think that's something cool to think about. I hope I made you think about it. Thomas Orozco. Here I am presented with a complex choice because I really want him to burn in hell, but he is very good at his role of being hateable. I don't know what to do about him, especially in the remake with all these voice lines. We are also counting Abstract Daddy as an extension of this character. I think he has to go in A tier because he does leave a huge impression on the player, and that's something a big memorable villain will do. Mrs. Orozco, she let her daughter down so bad. She made Angela think that everything was her fault. It's not clear if she died too, but I wouldn't be surprised if Angela also killed her. Also, she doesn't have as much of a presence as Thomas. She was an enabler, not no, actually, she does. That is abuse as well. I'm putting her in C tier. Eddie's bully. Mm, we know he was a piece of shit. He had a dog, but that doesn't make him a good person because he gives me the vibes of people who have violent trained dogs as a show of superiority. He practically broke Eddie. I'm, uh, I mean, in hateability. I put him in E tier. I'm gonna put him in C because Eddie's descent doesn't have that big of an impact on culturally, but he still left. He's still responsible for it. So that would be actually no. I have Mira in Silent Hill 2 remake, but I'm going to put her here right now. All of the endings she's in are fucking funny. Awesome, awesome work, Mira. Um, I think I'm gonna leave it at this for this stream. I don't know when I'll continue, but next up, I'll be taking a look at remake Silent Hill 2 remake, Painted Black. No, I mean Among the Damned, the comic, Silent Hill 3, and if that's if that's still not an hour, I can squeeze in the Orphan games. Why not? Um, Thanks a lot for hanging out. This was fun. I think the stream came out well. I think we can do this again. I hope this will be up in my channel for later watch. See you all. Take care.